Gather round, hunters, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. Orion Pirates Boss Mod. I'm Fleet Admiral Tarek of the heavy battlecruiser Ancient Kings, as we continue our campaign against the Romulan Star Empire, and we have been pounding the ever-loving crap out of this little star cluster that we've been fighting. Currently, the planet of what I assume to be is either Romulus or Remus, because there's another planet here, both of which show up as homeworld assaults, is down to an empire defense of 51, along with its associated planet down to 20, which means we're making quite a bit of progress. So, with that out of the way, let's lunge right back into battle and see if we can't get the Romulans, well, defeated. We're going to take the homeworld assault over the surprise reverse. The surprise reverse would grant us an easy kill. I mean, it's just like 8 ships that are shut off and you can just run into them and destroy them. But a homeworld assault is a little bit more enjoyable just because of things that can go wrong and have fun with. So we are currently squaring off against a single heavy cruiser, although it is an advanced heavy cruiser. It is an XCB, the Cygnus. This will be an advanced plasma bombardment destroyer. So I believe 3 plasma are torpedoes, if I'm not mistaken. We are also being escorted today by the USS Vega, which is an XCA, and the USS Lee, which is a battlecruiser carrier. So we have our own advanced heavy cruiser, we are an advanced bombardment cruiser, and a battlecruiser carrier. He's a little bit outgunned. Although the planet is a PLPH-1, it will be defended with significant amounts of firepower. It will be 4 or perhaps 8. I think it's 4. 4 plasma torpedo S's in association with 8 phaser 4s and 16 phaser 3s. It'll be pretty rough. There is also an FFHK, a Firehawk, or fast Firehawk perhaps, which is a pretty decent heavy cruiser. Not overly amazing, but significant enough to be a bit of a problem. We're going to start just throwing away. And the reason why is we're going to do a quick step salvo. And what that is we fire our first set of MIRVs, and then we fire our second set of MIRVs once we hit a distance of 5, and that causes the salvo to be relatively clenched together, allowing the first set of the salvo to burn down any sort of wild weasel incomings, and then the second part of the salvo to actually hit the ship. The preferred version of how to do this is actually that we fire one of these leading salvos and then fire both of the MIRVs. Both of these launchers for a total of 6 MIRV missiles. 36 in total will pop out at the end of that towards the enemy. However, because of the distance that we were dealing with, he got in a little bit closer than I wanted him to be, and so unfortunately we have to deal with this problem. He is starting to turn away from it, but he is doing a speed slower than what the missiles can maintain. Oh, and there goes him blasting every single weapon that he has, which will provoke the cloak, unfortunately. So he has actually defended himself quite well on that one. He will get all of his torpedoes off on the Lee, which means the Lee is going to stop. Yep, there goes his crash stop, so he can deploy his Wild Weasel, which leaves him vulnerable to the fast Firehawk. So let's start sending a little bit of love. It's going to take us a little while to actually get everything set up properly on this one, but this hopefully will push him away a little bit. And I've got a little bit of time, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly select over here his pseudo-frigates, and we will set up 1 missile, and 2. Distance is good, so missiles away. We're going to pop another quick step salvo. Unfortunately, we have him right nearby. He no longer seems to have a forward shield, which is a bit of a problem for him. I'm assuming the fighters took care of that for him. We've got a decent... there goes the crash stop, so he will stop for that, which means this quick step salvo is actually going to find purchase, and hopefully these missiles will intercept these interceptors before they can do much damage to the Lee, although the Lee is quite vulnerable in its current position. And did I find too good? Perfect. It triggered the... oh, wow. Run. Full power. Full engine power and get on the move. Phasers to defense mode. Overload them also as well so that they will burn out as much as they possibly can. And this is going to hurt. Oh, rear shields are down already. I'm assuming that took a piece of the armor with it, but no actual penetrations in the armor. So we have no actual damage to the ship so far. The Flamma Acceptor has been pretty badly mauled, and as long as we kind of stay at high speed and away from these guys, we should be all right. Let's pop up another MIRV salvo, see if we can't influence him to try and dump a Wild Weasel again. And if he... oh, nope, he's dead. Wow. The Vega just kind of curb stomped him right there. I'm really impressed by that one. We're going to wait till our distance. We're going to make this salvo even faster than we normally would by not even having a full MIRV as a backup. The Vega just annihilated him. The Vega just annihilated both of them. Holy crap. I am incredibly impressed by what just happened there. Normally the AI is mostly useless, not an absolute death-dealing machine. So, with that out of the way, thank you very much, AI, let's set ourselves up. We have 2 2 salvos in total. So we're going to be able to launch not the full massive planetary bombardment we like to do, but a pretty close approximation. Just not as significant as normal. So we're going to increase the speed of time so we can get ourselves into the actual assault position. We're already being open to fire on. So the speed of time is just a second so I can set a couple of things up. And that would be the forward shield reinforcement. We're going to get it to a decent level. That way any sort of incoming fire will bounce off of our shield reinforcement. Okay, we're good. And now we get ourselves up to a speed of 72, or a distance of 72. There we go. And launch the first salvo. And now we have one more salvo to get away. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the gigantic 116 missile salvos that we can put out when we're at full ammunition, but it should be good enough. Alright, that's all we've got. We're going to drop down and select our secondary, or our primary missile battery, I suppose, but our second battery hardpoint, because we have our MIRVs on 2 and the rest of them on 3, just so we can space them up properly. There we go. So that'll be 72 plus 80 missiles right there. Yeah, that's a little bit of a lot of firepower to have to deal with. So we're going to start to slow down, I think. I don't think I can put out I'm out of ammunition, period. I've got 1 missile there, 3 missiles in the B rack. The C rack has another set of missiles that it can dump out, so we'll do that right there. 82 missiles now in the salvo. Although, when we're at full tilt, we can pack 116 missiles on someone. So this hopefully will deal enough damage to just penetrate the enemy shields and damage the planet pretty severely so that they can't defend themselves. Let's start slowing down. We don't want to get much closer than this until we've actually badly dented them. Long range fire already going out from the Vega. He's already destroyed a heavy cruiser and an advanced heavy cruiser, so he may be able to destroy the planet on his own. Oh, well-timed heavy photon torpedoes just preceding my missile volley, which allows even more to penetrate on through. Tractor beams have been collapsed, and look at all that damage. And the C-Rax missile is following in for just a final 48. Send the probe. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, most of the systems are offline. Just engage with any missiles you've got left. Disruptors can now engage as well. Just start getting involved in a steady stream of fire. That's just to make sure that the shield does not recover. As long as we're dealing damage through a down shield, the down shield will not come back. And so that's our plan. Let's go maximum electronic countermeasures because we are about to go, well, full tilt into a planet, which could get pretty ugly. And shut off the phaser defense system. How many Marines we got left? We're at 35, so we should be fine. Disruptors not yet charged, but they're about to be. And blitz away with the disruptors. And gotta remember not to get too close to the planet. That is, not hit the planet. Hitting the planet is bad. You wish to avoid it under most circumstances. Alright, all of them select. Just continue bombarding the planet. What do we got left? How many people are? 5? We're almost down. But we didn't actually manage to knock it all the way down to its minimum value of 2. Down to 3, 1 more, and we've got him. Okay, be over the Marines. Alright, so that is the planet taken care of. Now, we have no stern shield, which is a bit of a problem. Means we can't directly move away, but the planet has no defenses at this point. The massive missile barrage was more than capable of just completely annihilating the planet. So we are in a nice and comfortable position here. And if we did take any armor damage, it's not a lot, so we may not have to actually go home. So that'll be pretty nice. A nice, long, sustained campaign. That's what I want to hear. Alright, let's see how much prestige. It is 670. Weakened it down to a 46. Let's pop over here to its companion planet. It's just a normal planetary assault. So we've already taken one homeworld. Now we're taking the second homeworld, and then we're also going to try and take the planetary assault. And this little 3-planetary cluster will be a huge boon to the Federation. Already we can see that the planet is a PL-16, a completely undefended planet. Well, not completely. It does have 8 Phaser 3s with which it will attempt to defend itself with, but the enemy is only defended by an SAB-XP, which is a light cruiser, or an alphabet soup heavy war destroyer. So, nothing too crazy. And, oh, by the way, we brought the USS Kiev, which is an advanced bombardment cruiser from the Federation side, which is packing 8 heavy photon torpedoes. Oh yeah. Somebody came to the wrong fight. Let's get ourselves up to our combat cruise speed. We're going to try and get a full mass salvo on him. We don't need to do it, but I want to do it. So we'll launch our first salvo out. It'll pop out in front of us. We're going to try and accelerate our speed up to around 15, 16, and that should allow us to be in position to launch the rest of the salvo. Unfortunately, we started a bit slow, so we'll probably stretch out the salvo a bit more than we want. So let's just increase speed as much as we can. We'll make sure we come over here. Maximum electronic countermeasure with a little bit of shield reinforcement on the forward shield. And it's really starting to get away from me, but I don't think he's going to have that much in the way of point defense. And if he does, well, 36 missiles is one heck of an incentive to, well, run. And MIRVs are ready. And we'll stop. We'll drop back because the MIRVs are now going to pop. And as we slip on behind the MIRVs, oh, you little son of a gun. He cloaked. Now, the MIRVs have so far maintained lock, which I'm very happy for. However, he does have 4 of these, which is a bit of a problem. So, C-Rack. Let's... 1, 2, and then... 3. There's only 3. Now we'll pull away. There was a Wild Weasel shuttle deployed, and then he came out of cloak, and I don't know why. Because I'm going to try and kill him now. Yep. He came out of cloak. Oh, by the way, a few of these may be left, which is why the C-Rack will be available very shortly. So there's 2 left so far. We will be able to deal with them without too much trouble. Just need to wait for our C-missile rack to be recharged, which it is a C-Rack, which means it is a high-speed missile rack, or quick reloading rack. It's very fast at getting shots at. It fires twice per turn, so half-turn cooldown. Makes it very useful for trying to pick off little guys like this. Or, you know, the Kiev over here could take care of it for us. Alright, so now that that's taken care of, let's go set up for a proper bombardment. And we'll get ourselves up to a speed of 24. Hopefully we'll hit that before we hit a distance of 72, so we can get the proper 116 salvo missile. Because that's the most fun way to destroy a planet, or defeat a planet. Destroy works. That missile will not hit the planet, unfortunately. That is not simulated. And 76, 75, 3, down to normal speed, 72. And now maximum speed as we go in. The planet will not be able to defend itself all that effectively. We're just going to get a whole ton of missiles to go along with us. And once we have all the missiles out, well, nothing will save this planet. Oh, we're not going to get the whole 116. One of our missile racks ran out a bit early. So this will be the last MIRV salvo to go in. And we'll drop back. Get ready with the primary salvo. So that'll be 72 plus 30... 72 plus... 18 plus 8. So 72 plus 24 is 96. Yeah, that's not a terrible missile salvo. Oh, and of course the heavy photon torpedoes coming from the Vega, dealing 48 damage in proximity mode, it looked like. So not a bad amount of salvo at all. We had 2 heavy bombardment cruisers attack this poor little planet. I kind of feel bad for it. Only a little bit, if I'm completely honest. And there goes just all the damage. Stacking up every little bit of damage that we can possibly get on there. And we'll keep the missile salvos going. Set this back to fire all. That way I don't have to actually manually track it. And I don't think there's probably anybody left on the planet. Oh, there is. Wow, I'm surprised. Surprised and impressed. Let's slow down to a stop since we don't need to get any closer than this. And all of them engaged. Beam over our Marines. And we're done. Well, we will be done as soon as the Marines finish taking the planet. But yeah, that's, again, still not the full massive might of our total barrage. So, although that heavy war destroyer decloaking when the missiles were still on the way is a really weird decision, because it allowed all the rest of the missiles to follow up at full damage. He also cloaked before we were able to launch our primary salvo, which made things a little bit more... made things a little easier. It saved us some ammunition at the end of the day. Alright, well, let's see how much prestige that one's worth. Well, it'll be 670. That's what it pays in order to conquer planets. Oh no, 495. So 670 is only for conquering homeworlds. And 495 is for normal planets. Speaking of homeworlds, let's hit another one. We're 27,761 prestige. That is getting to be moderately ridiculous. Although this campaign is lasting longer than a normal campaign would, and the reason for that one is because we had to trek all the way from the north of the galaxy down to the south of the galaxy. That's a long trip. It took us a little while to get ourselves in a ship that could actually do that trip. So we have a lot of money, and this campaign's taking a little while. So we are being escorted today by USS Sydney, which is a DNG, a guided dreadnought, as well as the battlecruiser carrier USS Pollux. I don't think you were the battlecruiser carrier with us last time, but No, I'm pretty sure you weren't. And we're currently square off against a single dreadnought, but according to our scans, it's only a C9R. The C9RX is a light dreadnought, not particularly deadly or dangerous. He may be also packing a couple of pseudo-frigates, but at the end of the day, this KHK, the Killer Hawk, is probably a more dangerous opponent. Although he probably is packing plasma D-torpedoes, isn't he? Well, maybe not. No, he's not. Okay, so we're going to go and give him, well, basically the business. So we're going to go with one missile launcher over here, getting ourselves up to speed. We're going to try and get a full massive salvo this time. I'd really like to do it because it's a lot of fun when you can manage it. Because it's 44 missiles? Yeah, 44 missiles in one full salvo out of this ship. So we'd like to be able to nail every single one of those into him. He doesn't have a D-type plasma torpedo, and if we turn off soon enough, we will avoid his cloaking device in its entirety. Nope, don't want to slow down. I need to speed up because our salvo is about to get a little bit further stretched. We want to fire at a distance of about 5, and this will be around 6.5. Okay, there goes the MIRVs. Slow down. And the reason why we're slowing down is I want the MIRVs to get out in front of me a little bit sooner. Lucky for us, the MIRVs are in the front of the ship instead of the back of the ship, where the BBV, or the BBM, the MIRV-equipped battleship, it has these MIRV launchers in the back of the ship, so they have to travel all the way to the front before they cover the front launchers. So we're going to turn away immediately at this point, stretch things out. We need to prevent him from either firing his plasma torpedoes or launching pseudo-frigates, because both of those things activate his defensive logic. And he's crash-stopping. Alrighty, so the first missiles will nail and destroy his pseudo-frigate. Or not his pseudo-frigate, his Wild Weasel. And the second set of missiles should be timed ever so perfectly to activate right when the Wild Weasel disappears, slamming into the ship and preventing any sort of immediate defense. That's the goal of that salvo. It works out very beautifully. And as you can see, he's taken 196 damage from that. We are now being run in very quickly by the Ungui. So we're going to have to quick step salvo out of this one. So launch a couple of missiles. Wait for the distance of 5. And then launch the rest of the salvo. And launch the rest of the group. And he is crash stopping, so he will respond in the exact same way. Hopefully this salvo launch will have worked out perfectly as planned. Although these MIRVs in front, I may have not given them quite enough time, but we will find out very quickly. But yeah, being able to open the salvo with 200 damage is pretty significant. And very, very punishing. He's already lost most of his systems. Get the disruptors involved. Do I need another MIRV launch? No. I'm going to pull away. Phasers to overload. Launcher probe. Let's find out how he's doing. He's lost both of his Fs and his shuttle bay, which means he's incredibly vulnerable to follow barrage, which we can provide. The planet is just a PL-14, so no actual defenses on him. So let's launch this in his face. He can't really do much about it, although we should be fine, I think. Also, as you can see, the Super Buyer is very much dead. He was a light dreadnought, and the DNG is most certainly not. The DNG is a guided dreadnought. It's a very good dreadnought. So he just didn't really stand much of a chance. You know what? We're going to emergency stop. We don't often use this, but we'll use the emergency stop when we use a Wild Weasel of our own. I was just a little bit worried about taking damage into the open shield again. I didn't want to bother with that. So let's maximum increase the speed of time again, and we'll go in to bombard the planet down to the ground. So a series of easy planetary battles is what we've just gone through. At the end of the day, the advanced bombardment cruiser for the Merak is possibly one of the deadliest ships in space. I really can't think of another way to put that. It is absurd in the amount of firepower that it can bring to bear. When you bring out 36 MIRV missiles, well, what's supposed to stand against you? And no planet can stand against this ship. As long as it's got a decent load on its magazines, it's gonna bombard you into scrap. There's nothing that can stop this. Oh, again, it's not gonna have full ammunition on the port side battery. So that'll be a little bit unfortunate. Slow down the speed of time just a bit because I'm getting a little bit closer than I thought I would. And we'll start to slow down. And get ready for the proper missile follow-up. The MIRVs, of course, deal 1/6 the amount of damage of the normal missile, which makes sense. It would be kind of ridiculous if the MIRV did full damage, which every single one of those missiles. That would be truly broken. But even with that in mind, it is just a devastating weapon system. Marines, yep, send them over. we have the Romulans very much on the back foot. We are in a very commanding position. And the more planets we take, the more powerful our economy becomes. The more powerful our economy becomes, the more large ships we can build. The more large ships we can build, well, the better support that we get in battle. So taking this little star cluster here, this will be amazing for our economies. I'm very much looking forward to it. Alrighty, so another homeworld captured again and again and again. This will bring it down to 41, I think? But yeah, 670 prestige is our reward to add on to our gigantic stack of prestige. We're feeling very comfortable. Empire defense of 41, yep. We are just slowly eating them alive. And remember, the trip we had to make was from all the way here, down around here to the south. And there's only like one planet here and one planet here that we had to operate between. So that was one heck of a trip. I was worried I was going to have to build a starbase, but it ended up not being necessary. But that'll do it for today's episode. I've been Tirak. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see a notification every time I release one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.